Yo, what's up, dudes? It's your boy, Scotty Smoothman, and today, September 28th, we do have our mid-season update for Warzone Season 5, and we're going to be talking about all the new updates. There's a lot of nerfs, a lot of buffs, a pretty cool new playlist, the rotation that they have going on. We're going to be talking all about that in this video, and this is the last update in Warzone. The last update, man, it's bittersweet. The last big update, you know, they might update a couple little things here, but the last big update, the mid-season update before Warzone 2 comes out in November. So we're going to be getting down to it, talking a lot about all the new changes. So we're going to jump right into it, man. We're going to start off here with the playlist, and I am actually really digging the playlist update. They're actually splitting it up by weeks this time. If you guys were aware, when Season 5 first rolled out, they were doing rotations based on the day. Like, you'd have Caldera quads, then on Monday, then on Tuesday, you'd have Rebirth quads. Wednesday, you'd have Caldera quads. So they switched up day to day. But in this actually updated playlist, they're doing it by the week, which is so much better. Week 1, which is going to start this week, it's going to be every Thursday they're going to be doing these updates. They're doing Caldera, of course, duos, trios, quads, buybacks, solos, Fortune's Keep, solos, duos, trios, quads. It seems like they're keeping Fortune's Keep for the next at least 2 weeks, solos, duos, trios, quads. But then the week of the 13th, it actually drops it to solos and trios only, and then solos and quads. So keep your eye open for this. I'll put the link to this in the description below. So if you guys have, maybe you're streaming, maybe you're recording some gameplay, and you want to get in a Rebirth Island solo, then go ahead and do that these weeks when they have it available. It does look like you're going to be able to get solo in, but anyway, keep your eye open for the playlist. Pretty cool update there. Fortune's Keep and Rebirth will be there every week. It's just going to be, depending on the week, will be the size of the squad, I guess, availabilities. It's great, man. I mean, if you're feeling like playing Rebirth, if you're feeling like playing Fortune's Keep instead, vice versa, like, you're going to be able to play that every single week. It's just a variation of what type of game mode you can play in those maps. So definitely glad they brought that back. I mean, there were days where we were feeling Rebirth and we just couldn't play it because it wasn't in the rotation. Then all the rest is pretty self-explanatory. You guys can check this out if you really want to. One thing I do want to also dive into is actually a new Rebirth Resurgence Supreme game mode, which is actually going to be, of course, Rebirth Resurgence. However, it's going to be a little bit different. There's going to be no loadouts. It's going to be like your typical Battle Royale from what I'm getting. Resurgence countdown's longer. Players have increased health. Ground loot will be there. Lowest rarity is epic. So instead of being able to go get your loadout, it's just going to drop you on the map. Obviously, you're going to have a bunch of random spawn weapons, and you're going to have to go pick it up. Kind of like a typical Battle Royale feel. I think they're trying to get us geared up for Warzone 2, because that seems to be how it's going to be for the most part. Like, you can get loadouts in Warzone 2, but they make it difficult, expensive to do. So they're going to bring back a lot of weapons. It's going to be Rebirth Island, but you won't be able to get your loadout, and you'll be able to have legendary weapons, rare weapons, epic, you know that whole thing. And pretty much look at it as like Apex almost. We will also get some free calling cards, so if you guys are interested in these calling cards by any means, go for it. This is actually kind of interesting because that DMR meta, let me know actually below, before we jump into that, what your favorite meta was throughout the whole Warzone 1 experience. DMR meta definitely was probably one of the most frustrating metas that there was, but let me know. I'm curious what you guys think, what your favorite meta was. I honestly loved the FFAR meta, probably one of my favorite guns to use back in the day when we know Warzone was like 6 months old to a year old, so definitely FFAR meta, but I'm curious what you guys think. So there's some more that you guys can get, calling cards that are free. Next, we have the gameplay. Now, the gameplay here is just going to be for the Battle Royale mode from what I'm getting. I don't think that this is going to transfer into Fortune's Keep or Rebirth Island, but kind of like Titanium Trials, the loadout actually is going to decrease the amount per circle. So each circle is going to drop it down $500. And again, that's pretty much going to be Caldera only or Battle Royale only. Again, from what I'm getting, it doesn't really flat out say like this is only for Battle Royale, but it does say, you know, we're happy to bring this to Battle Royale. So, you know, put 2 and 2 together. They're also going to have ATMs in Battle Royale, and then the Gulag tokens, redeploy tokens, they're actually got a little bit more of an increased spawn rate on those. So that's kind of cool if you guys do play Caldera. I don't, so you know. doesn't really affect me, but again, good on ya. We have the quality of life update. This is just kind of a little reminder like, hey, by the way, we're gonna do all these updates and let you know that we actually did that, so we take your feedback. It's great. The first one we're gonna talk about is the recommended weapons. I don't use this. I mean, just go to my channel, go to any other COD content creators channel. They're gonna probably tell you what guns they're using. When it comes to this, especially how like well the weapons are balanced, I recommend putting it up as like something that you feel more comfortable with. Like, use a gun that you like to use, right? Like, I use the Blitzen, and I prefer that over the PPSH because I feel more comfortable with it, even though the PPSH TTK is off the charts. You know what I mean? So, like, do whatever you want, but the recommended weapons, if you guys haven't noticed, in the loadout's going to do a little green box around the gun and say, this is recommended, what you should use. So, now that they have that, they actually made the Modern Warfare and Black Ops Cold War guns show recommended instead of just Vanguard. Golden keycard bunkers will have a yellow circle highlighted on the map, which is actually pretty sick, man. I don't know how many times I picked up that freaking keycard and I'm like, I don't use it. I don't need it. I don't even know where the hell the bunker's at. So that'll be kind of cool there. Manual gas mask, obviously this was a thing, but improved the gas mask text in settings to detail players how they equip it. It didn't really do a good job showing you how to do it, so now they've actually been able to do that and made it the first entry in the inventory to make it easy for equipping. And then lastly, the supply boxes, UAVs will no longer show the rebirth supply, so when you find the millions of supply box UAVs that are just scattered around the map, you're not going to see all the red resupply boxes on the map. You're just going to see the gold ones, the normal ones, and then of course like your loadout, which is like the pink one. So pretty cool. I mean, the map itself was just over cumbersome with just a bunch of freaking colors when you run that supply box UAV, so that might help that out a little bit. Perks. Ground loot perks. So the text will be displayed on the UI when a perk is acquired via ground loot. Right here, battle hardened perk acquired. So that's, I guess, what it's going to look like. It'll give you a little bit more of a heads up on that. The scavenger pouches will now drop a guarantee 1,000 on enemy elimination. Field upgrade adjustment, the PDS, or the portable decontamination station, or what I like to call the gas canister, right? The gas canister has actually had an increase to 20 seconds from 13, man. So people out here doing no-kill games with stimmies, with gas masks, with the PDS station, you're going to have an increase in that. So that's actually going to be pretty sick. It'll make it a lot better, maybe a lot more cooler gas plays. Who knows? So definitely a nice little change there. I like that. I like that little buff to that. Now we got the weapons, man, and the first thing we're going to talk about is the ground loot and gulag loadouts refreshed. They're now actually going to take some of the best weapons from not only Vanguard, which we've pretty much seen, but also Modern Warfare and Black Ops as well in the ground loot. Gonna mix that up in there and throw that in the mix. So definitely pretty cool. They're doing like a whole, hey, we're gonna miss Warzone, but let's do like a best weapons ground loot thing. Here we go. So that's cool. That we'll be seeing some more variation of that. And then we do have some new weapons. We have the BP-50 assault rifle and the Liena 57 LMG, both Vanguard, obviously. High accuracy on the LMG, assault rifle, high fire rate, so deadly and accurate at long range. Okay, but you know, that'll be interesting to see how those pan out. We'll definitely give those a shot and see what they are all about, man. Now, though, nerfs and buffs. I don't like this screen here. It just makes it look a little eh. And Warzone Loadout on Twitter actually makes it really cool, kind of lays it out in a really, really cool way. So we're going to start off with the shotgun, snipers, and launchers. It's going to talk about all the nerfs, all the buffs. Obviously, the red got a little nerf, and then everything in green is a buff. So first, we got the Garanko bullet drop-off, increased fire rate, decrease. So the Garanko got a pretty decent nerf. I'm not big into shotgun, snipers, or launchers, so if you guys want to, like, check that out, go for it. You can see like Street Sweeper making a somewhat of a comeback, right? And you guys can, you know, check these out, but this isn't really my cup of tea, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But pause the video, check it out if you guys do run any of these. Go for it. The assault rifles, and as I was looking through this, man, I noticed that a lot of Cold War Modern Warfare guns got buffs, and the Vanguard weapons got nerfed. So we start off with the Automaton, neck damage decreased, lower torso damage. So the damage on the Automaton did lower, not too much, just enough, you know, a little bit to not make it too OP, but I still think it'll be viable in Warzone. The UGM did get a little bit of a nerf, which honestly I feel like is probably needed. The UGM was pretty OP, but we really don't know how crazy of a nerf these are until we actually get into the game and play with the weapons and, you know, figure it out. So I don't know how big of a nerf that's going to be, but they did get a little bit of a nerf. The Volk got a ADS movement speed decreased, and then the M1 Grand and the Itra Burst also got a little bit of a nerf. I don't really use those two weapons at all. I don't really think anyone's used them unless they're ground loot, so we won't get into that. The EX1 got a little damage buff. I mean, that thing is just all over the place. If you guys do use it, you got a buff. The crossbow, because this gun needed a fucking buff, man. Okay, yeah, crossbow, multiplier for upper damage, and then the lower torso as well. EM2, man, this is an interesting one. I remember when the EM2 first came out, and it was absolutely shredding, bro. So EM2 headshot multiplier increased from to 1.5 from 1.3, and then the min damage increased as well. FFAR, baby, that's what I'm talking about. They got a little bit of a buff as well. Muzzle velocity, ADS movement speed. The AMAX got a buff. The AMAX, man, I know people have been using the AMAX. They've been using it, so for those that have been using it or continuing to use it, you guys got a little bit of a damage range buff, upper torso buff, so maybe the AMAX is the move. I don't know. We'll try it out. And then the M4, of course, as well, got a neck damage multiplier increase. The QBZ got an increase in headshot damage, neck damage, and then the Odin did also get another upper arm damage increase, and then the muzzle velocity increased by 3.5%. Odin, pretty viable gun, was a beast back in the day. Haven't used it in like a year, but we might have to try that one out. All right, man, now the meat and potatoes, the SMGs and the pistols, you know, this is what we've all been waiting for. So we do have, of course, the 3 Vanguard weapons that I've used and, you know, will probably continue to rotate through. We have the Armaguerra got a nerf. Headshot damage decreased to 1.5 down to 1.58, which really isn't bad at all. 0.08 of damage decrease. Neck multiplier, not bad at all either, to a 1.30 down from a 1.330. What? Typo, maybe? I don't know. ADS movement speed decrease, all that stuff. Like, they nerfed some of the attachments as well, but Armaguerra is still going to be viable. The Blix and the lower torso damage decreased from a 1.01 down from a 1.1, so 0.9. Don't know how big of an effect that'll take, but that one is... the Blixen did get a little bit of a nerf. Just a little bit. Nothing too crazy. The RA-25 got a nerf and a buff. The neck damage decreased, but some of the attachments on that got buffed. And then, thank God, the PPSH buffed again. Don't know how crazy of a buff this is, but the damage went from 19 down to 8. The min damage, upper leg damage decrease, and then a bunch of attachments. The old 71 round mag got a little bit of a decrease. So the magazine, actually, it's going from a 71 down to a 64. So that's an important one, man. If you guys are using that Nambu 71 round mag, no mas. They decreased that to a 64 round mag. And in my opinion, with the fire rate of the PPSH, you go through bullets like that. So we're going to see how that goes, man. You might be reloading a shit ton. Damage range decrease, rate of fire, and that's all going in with this mag here. Hip fire accuracy decreased with the Kovalevskaya 230 millimeter barrel, which is actually good because we'll take that all day. The Empress 144 millimeter rapid also got a decrease, and then tight grip as well got a little bit of a decrease. The benefit that tight grip provides has decreased, so you're gonna see the gun doing this a little bit more. Old slappy fish, like a fish out of water. That's what the PPSH is probably gonna look like. MP40 got a buff, and then you guys can see here we have the ISO, the Bullfrog, CX9, KSP 45, the Clouser. Those have all gotten a buff. Black Ops Cold War weapons, Modern Warfare weapons. Like, they're bringing them back, man. They know that the ground loot, if they're gonna be starting, you guys could probably keep an eye out for like these as ground loot weapons. I'm guessing they're buffing them because they're putting them in the map. So if you guys do use any of these, I used to rock the CX9 pretty much quite a bit. Bullfrog as well is a really good one. So you guys might be able to use these weapons, bring them back, you know, because again, they're gonna be popping into the map and being ground loot. going forward from here on out. And lastly, with the guns, there were some attachment nerfs. Nerf to the SVT40 PU scope 3 to 6, which honestly, like, I use this thing, so hopefully it doesn't really change too much, but you have the scope magnification increased so of course when you zoom in, zoom out, it's going to be a lot slower. And then the visual recoil increased by 15%, so that kind of sucks there. 4 times a 250 from a 200 millisecond time, and then the same with the visual recoil. Gun perks, really nothing too crazy here. Vital, I do want to show that there's a little bit more penalty for recoil control if you're using Vital. And then also Steady, the ADS movement speed is actually increased up to 4% from 3.5%, so that took a little bit of a buff. Recoil booster hip fire accuracy decreased by 3%, so really nothing too crazy, but still, you know, you guys might notice a little bit when you're in there. I won't go into the bugs. If you guys want to check it out, go ahead, pause the video. But that is pretty much it, man. A really good update. Really excited for these new playlists to roll out. Excited to try out some of these Black Ops, Cold War, and Modern Warfare guns. We'll see how it works, man. But anyway, guys, appreciate you for stopping by. If this video helps you out in any way, be sure to hit the thumbs up, sub to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.